Welcome back to Switched to Linux. Well, today we want to talk about one of the consequences and results of user-friendly computing. Of course, everybody's trying to make everything more user-friendly, and I have never liked the drive towards more user-friendliness because user-friendliness tends to remove options, settings, features, and functions from people who actually know how to use computers and can help people resolve the problems. And when the user-friendly component takes over, well, at that point in time, pretty much we have lost all hope. So where I saw this one today was actually from OMG Ubuntu. So Ubuntu 22.04 kills apps too frequently, and users aren't impressed. All right, so this is a new feature that has been enabled in Ubuntu 22.04, and a lot of people apparently have been complaining, and many people think, well, it's just their system. Oh, well, I guess Ubuntu works just fine. Now, what this has to do with is the OOM or OOMD. This stands for out of memory module. And what it basically does is when a system reaches too high of a memory level, it's going to find the application is taking memory and just kill them. Now, cue the conspiracy theorists, OOMD, whoop, not that one, OOMD, oh, I killed it, there it is. OOMD is actually created by Facebook. Yes, it is created by the Facebook incubator among a variety of different applications, and I was not completely sure of this. I confirmed it just before the settings, so this is something created by Facebook that is backported now into several Linux distributions. Now, before you jump on board and say, oh, look at Ubuntu, it's killing us all, well, it's a problem that has been seen in Fedora and Red Hat. This is Red Hat's Bugzilla. So in Fedora, we've actually had this reported as well. Another one from Reddit on Fedora. Basically, what's going on here is the OOMD is oftentimes too aggressive, and in its aggressiveness, what it's doing is it is killing stuff without anybody really knowing what was going on until it was investigated further. So this is something, as I said, it's been implemented in Ubuntu 22.04 and Fedora. I think it's Fedora 34 is the one that input it. I think that is when it was released. So this was just reported almost a year ago now. Of course, we're just now getting the Ubuntu one because not as many people are using Fedora, and those that are tend to be a little bit more computer savvy than those necessarily using Ubuntu. That's my perspective. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. But what happens is it's designed to take corrective action. Now, what this is going to do is it prevents the system from using too much information and the system lagging out. I've experienced this a few times on my Arch system that does not implement OOMD. And if for example, not now that I'm running it on an internal hard drive, but when I was running the same exact system on an external USB drive, for the most part, it worked fine, but I was actually able to overload Firefox, of course, because Firefox is already a memory hog. You open up a good 20 tabs, and the USB can't feed data back quick enough, memory fills up, and what would happen is the whole system would basically become unusable. Basically, you'd click something, you'd have to wait about 30 seconds for it to catch up. So the fix is you close the application that is causing the problem. Depending on the computer, it might be something like GIMP, it might be something like Firefox. My writing computer occasionally gets it with some bug on LibreOffice. I've never seen that bug anywhere else except that particular system. And it's not every document. There seems to be something wrong with a few specific documents I had that was causing the issue, but the whole system will lag out. You pull up the system resources, HTOP or system resource manager, whatever else, you find the offending application, you kill it, wait about 30 more seconds, and boom, your system's back to normal. It's like, well, that was nice. So what's happening is Ubuntu and Fedora and several systems running Systemd are trying to prevent that lag out from happening because that's not user-friendly. And so what they do is they implement OOMD, which prevents the system from lagging out. All right. Now, they're trying to do this maybe to keep the system more user-friendly. That's my argument here. But it's triggering too frequently. Here's a few different responses. There should be warnings prior to killing apps given the opportunity to save the app data. There should at least be an apologize and explanation after killing the app. The current behavior gives the impression that Ubuntu 22.04 is unreliable and unsafe, which is a problem for an LTS release. And this is a consequence of Ubuntu, as I've argued in the past, not doing nearly as much testing and things as they used to. There was a time the LTS things were like super stable even in the alpha phases. I have not seen a stable Ubuntu in that series since 16. Another user writes, I was watching some video in Firefox, popped over to another virtual workspace for a few minutes. I came back and Firefox had vanished like a fart in the wind. You know, the same thing had happened all week. I just installed a fresh Ubuntu 22.04 last week with Chrome, Firefox, and Thunderbird. So basically what's going on, Nick Rosbrook explains the issues at play in more detail in his mailing list and his post. The common theme in these reports is that Chrome is killed suddenly without any other observable symptoms of the system nearing OOM. The number of possible solutions put forward are to mitigate the aggressiveness. These range from altering how low memory values are calculated and triggered by the systemd OOMD to disabling the feature entirely and letting the kernel handle the OOM situations instead. Another solution is to increase the swap size. Of course, you generally have to do that on install. So if you are looking to install Ubuntu or something else that this may be a problem, increase your swap size more. On Ubuntu, the default installs is 1 gigabyte. Remember, the swap should be twice your RAM on your swap. Doing this would alleviate the issue of swap limit being hit too easily, triggering the unannounced app exit, but something that isn't something that can be applied to existing systems automatically. At least by my understanding, I've been a touch reductive in my summary as low-level technical workings, etc., etc. And so this has become an issue among several systems. I was trying to find the easy settings to modify the config files for this. And there is some information here in the GitHub, which is from the Facebook's page. There is a configuration system over here. I didn't see an easy way to get this from the computer novice level, and I didn't dig into it any further. The best thing would probably be, there is a post over here. Sure, let's just accept all cookies on my browser that wipes all cookies on close. Yay. And so this guy here asks, how do you do it? He's explaining his problem. He knows the issues. It's very simple. System control, disable, now systemd OOMD. So this is going to remove it, verify it's disabled, and then this should prevent it. Let's see, it's possible other services might attempt to restart it. So you can run a mask and you can create a service over here to make it null. So there's a few options that you have to close it out. I'll go ahead and put these links. I don't think we need the Fedora link. I don't think we need the systemd link. I'll go ahead and put the Ubuntu article. I'll put the OOMD GitHub page, and I'll put this Ask Ubuntu how to disable it in 22.04 down below, so that if you are experiencing problems with this, you can go ahead and mitigate it yourself. So if you have had experiences with Ubuntu apps crashing, this is probably the reason. So what is the problem here? Well, too many distros are starting to implement these types of things. Again, it prevents the system from lagging out, which, you know, it's nice. You don't want your system lagging out. But what's worse, your system lagging out because of too many things are open, or the system saying, this is killing too much memory, kill it. And, well, if you're working on something and you just lost an hour of work because you're not necessarily a compulsive saver, if you've lost an hour of work because something got a little bit too full of memory, that's a serious problem. That is like a serious problem. And so in their attempt to prevent your computer from lagging out and to be much more user-friendly and to feel snappier all the time, they're implementing systems that kill stuff in the back end, which causes other issues in other places. So because they're trying to become more user-friendly, not just in Ubuntu, but in several of the Linux distributions, the user-friendliness tends to cause problems that cause serious issues for the system users down the road, and then it takes a lot more advanced computer users to get in here and figure out what the problem is. So I'd rather us go back to a time when things are not as difficult necessarily to work with, but at the same time not as easy to just not as user-friendly to not have any settings at all. Now, of course, it has been a problem in the past of Cinnamon kind of lagging out. And in response to this, actually, Linux Mint, when they developed Cinnamon, one of the things that they actually did is they put something in to prevent this in Cinnamon. So if you're using Cinnamon anywhere, I'm using it here on Linux Mint, but if you're using Cinnamon anywhere, head on over to your settings and general, and you have a memory limit for Cinnamon. So what you can do is you can automatically restart Cinnamon if it uses too much, and then you can set the frequency by which it checks. So this is a way to override these and prevent Cinnamon from lagging out the system. So this is something that you can always do if you're utilizing Cinnamon as a desktop environment. So Linux Mint team actually built something in to mitigate this issue itself inside the settings very easily. I like that approach of doing it. So there's my thought. What do you think about all this kind of stuff? Do you want to not use OOMD at all, knowing that Facebook created it, or is like, okay, yeah, we can see the code, it's fine? Do we need to have somebody creating some easy GUI tools to easily manage this, set what memories, maybe set some applications to ignore, things like that? That would be a cool thing to see. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Have a look at the website at switchedtolinux.com/support for ways you can help support the channel, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.